Hi everyone, I'm Joe Mall, and in this video you'll discover the important differences between finance and accounting careers. I have personally worked in finance for several years, and I studied accounting in school. We'll explore salaries, career paths, and the day-to-day work in each field. First, let's cover salaries because everybody's curious about what these career paths can make. According to the National Association of Colleges and Employers, entry-level compensation for both finance and accounting in the United States both sit at just below $60,000 per year. So right out of college, these two career paths are pretty similar in compensation on average. Diving in a little deeper, looking at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we see a median salary for accountants and auditors of all experience levels to be $77,000, with over 1.4 million jobs available. For financial analysts, the median pay is $95,000 per year, with 370,000 jobs available. So over the course of a career, the pay is on average higher for finance than it is for accounting. The trade-off is that there are way more accounting jobs available than finance jobs, so it's easier to get your first job in accounting than it is in finance. Accountants also usually have a more stable and predictable career path. Of course, these are just averages, and compensation will vary widely in both fields based on years of experience and the specific type of career path you choose to go down. Both career paths can scale up to well over six figures with more years of experience, and at the highest levels, both can be extremely high paying. We'll explore some of the different specific career paths later in the video. But first, let's define what is accounting and what is finance. Why are they important? Let's start by talking about what accounting and finance do within a company. Accountants report financial transactions that happened in the past. They are financial historians. They tell us how much money a business has made, what the company has spent money on, how much taxes it's paid, and how much cash and other assets the company holds right now. At the end of their process, accountants create the balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow statement of the company. And if you can read these financial statements, then you can understand the story of a business. This is why accounting is known as the language of business. So in reality, it's important to learn about accounting no matter what kind of business you go into, because all businesses rely so heavily on accounting data. Finance, on the other hand, is about planning and making investment decisions about the future. How should a company spend its money? What investments should a company or an individual make? Should one company buy another company or sell part of its business? These are the kinds of decisions that finance teams think about. Finance professionals analyze the data that we have today, which in large part comes from accountants, and then tries to find patterns in the data and predict how the company is going to perform in the future. In that way, the team can make recommendations on spending, saving, or business strategy. So in deciding which career path is best for you, think about what would you prefer more? Reporting what happened in the past, like accountants, or trying to predict the future or make decisions about the future, like finance? So now let's talk about how do we define success in accounting and finance, because they're a little bit different. An accountant is successful if the reports that they create are accurate and reliable. Accuracy and completeness are the most important things for an accountant. Accounting reports are used by investors, tax authorities, and regulators, so mistakes can have really severe consequences. Accounting might be a good career for you if you enjoy following established guidelines and rules to create reports. You should be methodical and very detail-oriented, and you'll need to have the integrity to use your best judgment if something is ambiguous or if a rule isn't clearly defined. It's important to point out that accounting is not just about math. It's also about understanding the legal guidance from regulators, understanding the tax code, and how these rules specifically apply to the business that the accountant works for. Now, certain personality types might find this kind of work tedious, but accounting can be a really good fit for someone who really enjoys learning the rules, following procedures and processes, and coming to a correct answer. It could be an especially good fit for someone who considers themselves a little more introverted. Working in accounting can be kind of like the satisfaction you get from solving a really difficult puzzle. In contrast, a financial analyst is successful if they can analyze information, find the insights, and then make recommendations about the future. So finance will look at the financial statements that are created by the accountants. They'll look at how things like sales, expenses, and profits have trended in the past and are expected to perform in the future. Then you can use your knowledge about the business, the competition, trends in the general economy to make recommendations or changes to company strategy. This might mean reducing spending in certain areas of the company that are no longer profitable, or investing more money into parts of the business that have really big growth potential. So you might be a better fit for finance if you're comfortable coming up with your own insights and recommending your own ideas. This type of work requires being a little more creative and proactive than in accounting. In general, a finance career will also require more communication skills because you're talking to different leaders within the business and investors about how the company is performing. You also need to be persuasive because even if you have the data, even if you have the best ideas, if you can't convince someone that the ideas are correct, then nothing's going to happen. Now, let's talk about different career paths within each field. Let's start with accounting. The two big categories in accounting are public accounting and private accounting. A public accountant might work for one of the big four firms, EY, Deloitte, KPMG, PwC. These accounting firms then provide accounting services to different companies or individuals. They'll check documents for clients for completeness and accuracy before they're disclosed to the public. You'll definitely need a CPA license or certified public accountant license to work in public accounting. Now, within public accounting, the two biggest categories are audit and tax. In audit, you'll make sure that the financial statements and financial reports of different companies are accurate and complete. Anytime you open a public company's annual report, you'll see an auditor's opinion, which means that an outside accounting firm has reviewed the statements and that they confirm that they accurately reflect the company's financial situation. The other big category is tax, which can mean calculating how much tax does a company or an individual need to pay. These firms can also help you pay the lowest tax bill legally possible. In public accounting, there's usually a busy season that's built around year-end deadlines or tax deadlines. And during these busy times, you work a ton of hours, with the rest of the year being a little bit more relaxed. Schedules in public accounting can be a little more unpredictable, with travel sometimes required to go work on a client site. Public accounting can be a very popular place to start a career because it gives you a very broad base of experience and can give you a good brand on your resume for your first job. If you choose a career in public accounting, you can continue to move up within the firm to get to the very highest level, to be partner, or more commonly, you could switch over to private accounting, which we'll cover now. So the second main branch of accounting is called private accounting or industry accounting. These accountants are employed to do work within one company. Companies like Amazon, Google, literally every company on earth employs accountants to create their financial statements and calculate their taxes. Day-to-day duties include management reporting, journal entries, and account reconciliations. Industry accountants will go through a month-end close cycle to close the books every month, with there being extra scrutiny on quarter ends and year ends. Since private accountants work for corporations, they typically work more normal business hours than a public accountant. These accountants might also be responsible for accounts payable and accounts receivable, sending invoices to customers, and paying the company's bills. The accounting team is also responsible for setting up the internal reporting system to track all of these financial transactions. They use what's known as Enterprise Resource Planning Software, or an ERP system, something like NetSuite, to track all the financials within a company. A CPA is not required in private accounting, but it can be very helpful. A master's in accounting or an MBA might be more common. The CMA, or Certified Management Accountant certification, has also been gaining popularity lately. The longer you can stay in public accounting and keep moving up, then the higher level you can move over to industry accounting at a company. The highest pure accounting role at a company is usually known as the controller, and they report to the CFO. And the CFO, or Chief Financial Officer, can either have a finance background or an accounting background. Usually they have a combination of both. Okay, so now let's cover finance careers. Now, there are many branches of finance, but here are some of the biggest ones. First, let's cover corporate finance, because in terms of total number of jobs, this category is probably the biggest. Similar to private accounting, pretty much every company has some kind of finance team or finance professionals working at their company. And the goal of this team is to help the company grow profitably, to make sure that the company is spending in the right areas to grow effectively, while also not wasting money. Ideally, the company will eventually maximize both sales growth and profitability. This team is responsible for setting budgets and forecasting sales, costs, expenses, and profits. This kind of finance is broadly known as FP&A, or financial planning and analysis. This team might also analyze and give recommendations on new projects or initiatives the company should invest in. If a company is planning to launch a new product, how much is that going to cost? How much does the company think it can sell of that product? And is it financially worth it for the company to pursue that in the long run? Is it a good risk-reward bet? Many large companies will also have a treasury team responsible for managing the company's cash. This team might also hedge for fluctuations in commodity prices and foreign exchange rates. Many companies will also have a mergers and acquisitions team, or M&A team, responsible for finding other companies to acquire. Then there's the investor relations team, responsible for reporting financial information to investors and helping the CFO prepare for earnings calls if it's a public company. Now, the second broad category in finance is investing and wealth management. In this type of role, you might work for an investment fund, helping decide which specific stocks or bonds to hold in a portfolio. You might also help at the asset class level, deciding what's the best mix of stocks, bonds, and alternatives for a specific investor. This career involves deeply researching companies and industries and following global financial markets and the economy. Similar to this is working in wealth management or being a financial advisor. These professionals help individuals plan for retirement and other big financial events in their lives. Basically, they help people grow their wealth over time through their investments while minimizing the risk that they run out of money. Third, there's the banking sector, which includes investment banking, commercial banking, and retail banking. Now, investment banking could probably be its own video entirely, but it basically entails helping a company plan for a merger or acquisition or a divestiture. Or they may be helping a company raise more money, either through selling stock, like through an IPO, or through debt, like by selling bonds. Investment banking is known as a very high-paying, hard to break into field where you work a ton of hours. It's highly competitive, but can set you up for great opportunities later on in your career. Many investment bankers go on to work in private equity, where they help funds and accredited investors invest in companies that are not listed on a public stock exchange. Commercial banking is about offering loans, lines of credit, and deposit services to businesses. In this field, you might start out as a credit analyst and work your way up from there. Many finance professionals do get by with just an undergraduate degree in finance, but many go on to get advanced degrees like an MBA or a credential like the CFA charter. Let me know in the comments if there are any branches of accounting or finance that I wasn't able to cover here that you're interested in learning more about. So far we've covered the differences between accounting and finance. Now let's talk about some of the similarities. Finance and accounting have a lot of overlapping skills. Both types of professionals need to be good with numbers, detail-oriented and analytical, and skilled in Microsoft Excel. There is software out there for accounting and finance teams to automate some work that used to be done in Microsoft Excel, but even with that, a lot of ad hoc analysis, a lot of one-off projects, you're still going to use Excel a ton. If you're trying to break into either accounting or finance, my number one suggestion is to get really good learning Microsoft Excel on your own through YouTube videos or other tutorials. Another similarity is that both accounting and finance professionals need to understand the financial statements very, very well. The accounting teams need to create the financial statements, and the finance team needs to be able to read and understand and interpret the statements. So regardless of which path you choose, I'd really recommend getting a strong grasp of the balance sheet, cash flow statement, and income statement. And within a company, the accounting and finance teams rely on each other a lot. Finance can't do meaningful analysis if the accounting data is incorrect, and the accounting team can't accurately categorize expenses if they don't understand the business reason behind the spending, which the finance team can help them understand. Also, within a company, both the accounting team and the finance teams roll up to the CFO, or Chief Financial Officer of the company. Many professionals end up switching between finance and accounting throughout their career. So here's a recap of the main differences between finance and accounting so you can choose which career path is best for you. Accounting is about reporting the past, while finance is about analyzing the future. Accounting focuses on compliance and accuracy, while finance focuses on making money. Accounting is generally a more stable and predictable career path, while a finance professional needs to be more comfortable with risk and more variety. Accounting is usually about reporting internal information, while finance will incorporate external data about the economy and the market into their analyses. Accounting is all about being methodical and accurate, while finance is about being proactive and helping to influence decisions. The main paths in accounting include tax and audit, while in finance you'll be creating budgets within a company or making investment decisions in other fields of finance. If you're in college and you really can't decide between the two, I would honestly lean towards accounting. Entry-level accounting roles are generally easier to get than entry-level finance roles, and it's easier to switch from accounting to finance than the other way around if you decide to make a change later on. It's also very common to do a double major in finance and accounting, regardless of which path you take. Remember to press the like button below and subscribe to the channel for more videos. See you next time.